I'm going to go through the fights probably in the order which you would come across them. Quite a few of them you can access at the same time, so it's just kind of a random order. I'm a bit too much of a chicken, a bit too much of a coward to put these in a actually ranked order from worst to best. So I'm going to start with the fight against the thugs who are trying to protect Arthur at the beginning of Act 3 in Rivington. It's not a fight that particularly stands out. You've just got some human enemies, right? You've got some Rivington rats to fight against. But what I really like about it is you've just got through Act 2. You've just killed Merkel. You've just killed an avatar of a god. You've just fought alongside an Illithid, a mind flayer in the astral plane. And then you're down here in Rivington, just beating up some thugs. And I just love kind of the power fantasy. That's how strong I feel at this point. When I've got all these great items, I'm at a good level, I've just done one of the hardest fights. So I am more than ready to lay the smackdown on some random NPCs. And it kind of just feels good to have your feet back on the material plane. We're getting really close to Baldur's Gate now, the cities whose name is in the title. And you can do a little bit of good for the world. Next I got Raphael, and I'm going to say it, I loved the music the first time it played, and I still enjoy fighting this battle with the music in the background. I do know there are people out there who kind of really dislike it and hate it because it's a little bit cheesy, over the top, sounds like he's like some sort of Disney villain, but actually it kind of only happens once in the game. It's not like a recurring theme, and he acts like an over-the-top stereotypical villain anyway, so I think he deserves to have that. Aside from that, aside from the setting and the fact you've just gained loads of powerful items, assuming you've helped Hope out, she's going to help you out in this fight. And what I really like is she's a really good kind of supporting character here. She doesn't do loads of damage, she isn't killing multiple Cambions every turn, but she does have that lovely ability to basically send some guests out of the house. You can't send Raphael out himself, but the other Cambions you can. That's a 100% chance. And she's got some great healing. She's a life cleric, so when even like something like mass healing word goes out, you will get the extra bit of healing from her subclass ability. And if you want to, you can even use divine intervention. I don't generally use it here. I probably should do it more often because you only get to use it once per game anyway. Well, I know you can respec, but outside of that, what I like is she doesn't kind of steal the limelight of the party, because there is the possibility when you introduce like non-party members into a fight that they're just like so powerful and over the top that it kind of, yeah, could potentially overshadow you. But she doesn't. She helps, and I've got to say I appreciate the help from her. Next I got the fight against Viconia in the House of Grief, and this is just a lovely big fight if you want it to be. Most of the time it's probably going to be a big fight. You can actually persuade some of the members to be on your side if you haven't been so kind to Aelim, and Shadowheart can start to kind of take over the House of Grief as it were. I don't tend to do that, so I'm usually fighting everybody. Just like in my previous videos, I kind of really like the fights that are large and have lots of enemies, because one, you get to use these area of effect abilities kind of to their full extent, rather than using them on just 1 or 2 enemies or 3 enemies. You can use it on like 5, 6, 7, maybe more. And if you're really tactical about this fight, kind of don't go charging in, because you will get surrounded. I tend to head up the stairs a little bit, make the enemy come to you. You can put down all of these area of effect spells like Ice Storm or Hunger of Hadar. You can get your Void Bulbs out. If you've got Illithid powers, Black Hole just wins this fight for you. And I like it because at first it might seem insurmountable. You might be like, oh, how am I going to do this? But you chip away at the enemies, smash your way through them, hit lots of them with a fireball, always goes down a treat. And over time, you just start winning more and more, and you get to learn that action economy is very important. Next is Cazador. It's kind of a cool, I quite like the look of the area, this kind of dungeon deep underground that he's set up on this large platform. Depending on your choices, you might have a ritual going. In a sense, it makes it a bit more difficult with the ritual going. What I do like about the ritual is that if you get your party members and any summons to stand over a certain spot, they gain the benefits of what Cazador's trying to do, and he gets debuffed ever so slightly. So hopefully quite quickly, you go and take up all those spots and Cazador gets weaker and weaker. So it's kind of a different way to interrupt the ritual apart from killing everyone, which obviously is what you're going to end up doing anyway, but it's good that you can slow it down in other ways. And if you didn't know, using the Daylight spell, the level 3 spell, really nerfs Cazador and makes the fight much more manageable. And he has a very nasty reaction in honor mode. His legendary action can really take you down. I've seen people write about how that happened to them, and I don't blame them, because he can hit you really hard. A bit like Raphael, he seems like a over-the-top caricature of a villain at times, the way he speaks, the way he acts, but we need to keep stereotypes going somehow, don't we? Next is not so much a fight, although there is fighting, but just more of an encounter, which is the Iron Throne. And it's just completely different. You know, I barely call it a fight because it's much more of an escape, or rescue and escape, search and rescue, however you want to call it. And you really have to have a plan to make this work. You can't just go running in and just like, oh, well, send this person that way, send another person that way. It's not going to work out. And it also lets you use mechanics, if you didn't know anyway, that you might not have used much before, maybe you didn't even know about them, such as shooting levers to release the Gondians. That really helps. Or you can get your summons to hit levers. Scratch can be the best boy here. He can attack levers, which will open the doors. You can also potentially save Aemilium if he's there. You can potentially save the Duke. If you've got the spell Arcane Gate, this is the place it really shines, because you can set it up and your allies, the enemies actually will as well, but your allies, people you're trying to save, will use it. I feel vindicated for picking Arcane Gate for this situation. And this is one of the very few fights where actually you can't just stand and fight because you will die. You have a timer. There are very few places in the game where there are timers that actually will kill you if you don't manage to beat the situation before the timer has finished. And this is one of them. Next I have Saravok, and a bit like with Raphael, I really like this music. This isn't like over the top Disney villain music. I love like those deep tones that come in when you get to this fight and you start the fight. Now aside from the music, I like that this is a nice kind of throwback to Baldur's Gate 2. I understand when people are upset seeing Saravok back to being in charge of like the cult of Baal essentially. But I like that we get to see the ghosts. We've got a Melisande there, and the other ghosts that come back from like the 5 from the Baldur's Gate to like Throne of Baal. What would you call it? The expansion. That's what we used to call it back in the day. It would have been called an expansion. Usually by here, the power fantasy comes into play again. I'm often level, I'd probably say 12, if not 11 at the very, very lowest. And what I think is kind of a bit funny about this fight, well, Saravok in particular, is he is a humanoid, and his wisdom saves are abysmal. From what I remember, he gets like a +2. By this point, your spell save DC is probably in the low 20s, and if you've got any arcane acuity gear, it's gonna shoot up, and he's gonna be held, and he's gonna go down so easily. Before you get there are some blackguards. I tend to just outright kill them before going into the fight now. If you go into the fight with that door open and the blackguards come in from behind, that can actually make this quite a lot more difficult. You can also just shut the door, and they won't come through the door. I used to even cast Arcane Lock, but after reading online and testing out, they don't come through the door if it's closed. It's like they can't hear what's going on through the door, or the fighting, who knows. And what I like is that Saravok can actually be quite a deadly opponent if you don't take him down quickly. So you've really got to be careful with what you do here, because killing the ghosts before him, then he gets buffed, and some of the buffs are pretty strong. Like his armor class goes up, he can't be held and things, and he can heal when he hits, and it's just not very nice. So it's another fight where you have to think quite carefully. And the last fight that's going on this list is the top of the brain, like right at the end of the game. It's a big fight, and again with some of my picks here, it's just something I love about the game. The fights in the game I like the most are the ones with lots and lots of enemies. You've got allies, and what I really like here is that this is the last fight of the game, and your choices come back to usually help you. And so if you've gone around helping loads of people, then you've got lots of allies to help you. In terms of the enemies, there's a dragon, a red dragon. I love it. And there are loads of enemies out there, and it's the last time that you get to unload your arsenal. It's like the last hurrah, the last like lap of victory. Fighting the brain itself at the very end, I don't really find that interesting mechanically. You just go in and blast it and it dies. It's just a necessity for this type of game, I suppose. And although there is a timer before you open the portal to the brain, that timer is not a timer I worry about. Can make things more difficult. It's not a timer before you die, it's just before there's some bombardments. Potentially illithids start coming along, but if you've had your allies out, if you've been a little bit sensible and used, let's say, Globe of Invulnerability, I often save a haste spore grenade for this fight, and I just go to town and just absolutely dominate the fight. And I really like it. It's the last time you get to show off your powers, demonstrate how far you and your party have come, considering you started on the Nautiloid at the very beginning. And this is the time where you get to use up all those consumables you might need for later. You didn't use them earlier on. In Act 3, there are so many fights. I'm just going to add a few honourable mentions here. Firstly, just Ansur, mostly just because of what Ansur is, an undead dragon. and it does help tell more of the story behind Baldur's Gate itself. There's some good loot, but I don't particularly care about the mechanics of the fight, in all honesty. I'm also going to mention Mystic Carrion because you can make the fight easier if you've gone around and done the little bit of treasure hunting around the city first. You don't have to. There's only one part of his body you have to destroy ahead of time. And again, there's just about enough enemies to make me happy and make me feel good about myself when I win. And there's a fairly decent item or two to be gained from this fight. And lastly, again, it's not so much a fight as an area. It's just Chult, the jungle. And it's just kind of a cool setup with the genie and the circus. So you get to go to a completely different kind of environment or biome, as you might call it. You get some of the strongest items in the game there, like the Band of Mystic Scoundrel, like just break spellcasting, essentially. And you have to go there solo. Like whoever gets sent there is there by themselves. So it's kind of a bit tough. You're probably level 9 or 10 at this point, and you just got to be really careful because the dinosaurs, they're level, I can't remember now, 8, 9, 10. They got like 60 hit points each, 66 or something. I think there's like some pack leader of these dinosaurs. But yeah, it's just like a fun little side mission. It doesn't take too long and you get to see a different part of the world. You let me know your favorite parts of Act 3. Let me know your favorite fights, your favorite situations, your favorite encounters. And let me know which ones that I mentioned that you don't like and why you don't like them. And that's fine, because we've all got our own likes and dislikes within the game. Thank you very much for watching, and to all the members of my channel, and hopefully I'll catch you in the next one.